In the quietude of a serene mountain temple, nestled high among the clouds, a group of disciples sat in a semicircle around their venerable master. The temple was a place of refuge from the bustling world below, a sanctuary where seekers of wisdom could retreat to ponder the deeper truths of life. The day was drawing to a close, and the golden light of the setting sun cast long shadows across the courtyard. The air was still, filled with the fragrance of blooming lotus flowers and the distant song of a lone bird. The master, a man of indeterminate age, with eyes that seemed to hold the mysteries of the universe, sat cross-legged on a simple wooden platform. His presence was both calming and commanding, as if he were rooted not only in the earth beneath him but also in some unseen realm of peace and clarity. The disciples, ranging in age and background, had come from far and wide to learn from him. Each carried with them their own burdens, questions, and hopes for a more enlightened way of living. The master's voice, when he spoke, was like a gentle breeze, soft, yet carrying the weight of profound wisdom. "Tell me," he began, his eyes sweeping over the eager faces of his disciples, "what troubles your minds this evening?" The disciples glanced at one another, hesitant at first, until one among them, a young man named Ling, spoke up. Ling had been grappling with a restless mind, one that kept him awake at night with a relentless barrage of thoughts. He was diligent in his studies and sincere in his practice, but lately, he had found himself trapped in a cycle of worry and doubt. "Master," Ling began, his voice tinged with weariness, "I find myself unable to quiet my mind. I lie awake at night, my thoughts racing with concerns about the future, replaying the events of the day, and imagining all the ways in which I might fail. No matter how hard I try to focus or meditate, my mind refuses to be still. I fear that I am losing my way." The master listened attentively, nodding as Ling spoke. When Ling finished, the master allowed a moment of silence to pass, as if weighing the young man's words in his heart. Then, with a slight smile, he gestured for all the disciples to come closer. "Ling, your struggle is not yours alone," the master said gently. "Many who seek wisdom and peace encounter the same challenge, the mind that refuses to be still, the thoughts that race like a wild river, sweeping us away from the present moment." The other disciples nodded in agreement, each recognizing in Ling's words a reflection of their own inner battles. The master continued, "Let me share with you a story not of ancient times, but one that is happening right now, within each of you. It is a story of a mind that overthinks, a mind that becomes lost in the labyrinth of its own creation. But it is also a story of hope, of a way to break free from the chains of overthinking and to find the peace that lies within." The disciples leaned in, their attention fully captured, as the master began to weave his tale, a tale that would lead them into the heart of their own minds, and show them the path to clarity and freedom. And so, the master began his teaching, guiding his disciples on a journey of understanding, mindfulness, and transformation, as they learned how to break free from the cycle of overthinking and embrace the present moment with wisdom and grace. Ah, my dear disciples, sit closer and listen with open hearts and minds, for today we embark on a journey deep into the labyrinth of the mind, a journey to understand the power it holds over our lives and, more importantly, how we can master it. This lesson is not merely about overthinking, it is about the subtle ways in which our minds can either be our greatest ally or our most formidable foe. The path to peace is within reach, but it requires wisdom, patience, and the courage to confront our innermost fears. Are you overthinking? Understanding the impact and how to break free, let us begin with a question that each of you must ask yourself with complete honesty. Are you overthinking? Perhaps you have noticed this habit creeping into your life in quiet moments, like when you lie in bed at night, unable to sleep, because your mind is spinning with thoughts that refuse to settle. Have you ever found yourself trapped in an endless loop of worries, replaying the same scenarios over and over, as if your mind were a broken record? Or maybe you hesitate to take a new step forward, feeling the grip of anxiety tighten as your mind leaps to the worst-case scenarios. And what of the constant concern about others' opinions? Ah, yes, the fear of judgment, how it weighs heavily on the heart. Whether it's about your work, your appearance, or even your thoughts, do you not feel the pressure of wondering what others might think of you? If these questions stir something within you, then, my dear disciples, you are not alone. You are among the many who struggle with the relentless cycle of overthinking. Overthinking, a thief in the night. Let us speak plainly. Overthinking is a thief, and it steals from you in ways you may not even realize. It saps your energy, distracts you from the present moment, and prevents you from taking the actions that lead to growth and fulfillment. How many opportunities have passed you by because you were too busy analyzing, worrying, and second-guessing? How many moments of peace have slipped through your fingers because your mind was caught in a whirlwind of thoughts? Yet, do not despair, for there is hope, there is always hope, and it lies in the realization that overthinking, though powerful, is not an unconquerable force. Just as a skilled sailor learns to navigate the stormiest of seas, so too can you learn to steer your mind away from the turbulent waves of overthinking. This journey will require patience and persistence, but the reward is great, a life lived with clarity, peace, and purpose. Step 1. Realizing the futility of overthinking. The first step, my dear disciples, is to confront a truth that may be difficult to accept. Overthinking does not serve you. This realization is the foundation upon which we will build our practice. We often deceive ourselves into believing that by thinking things through repeatedly, we are somehow protecting ourselves from mistakes, pain, or failure. But let us be honest, how often has this constant rumination actually led to a better outcome? How often has it instead left you feeling more anxious, more paralyzed, and more lost? Overthinking leads to what we call paralysis by analysis, a state where you are so consumed by the what-ifs that you find yourself unable to move forward. Imagine, if you will, a person standing at a crossroads, endlessly debating which path to take, but never actually moving. This is the plight of the overthinker. Instead of progressing along the path of life, they remain stuck, their mind going in circles, offering no real resolution. To break free from this cycle, you must ask yourself, is this endless thinking truly helping me, or is it only adding to my anxiety? This question is not merely rhetorical, it is a tool, a mirror that reflects the truth of your situation. More often than not, you will find that overthinking only serves to heighten your anxiety and distract you from the task at hand. Recognizing the futility of overthinking is the first step toward liberating your mind. Now, let me be clear, thinking is not the enemy. Thought is a powerful tool when used wisely. But like all tools, it must be wielded with skill and precision. There is a balance to be struck, where thought guides you forward rather than holding you back. Step 2. Practicing mindfulness to anchor your thoughts. Now that we have laid the foundation, let us turn to the practice of mindfulness, a practice as old as time itself, yet as relevant today as it was in the days of the ancient masters. Mindfulness is the key to calming the storm that rages in the mind. By bringing your awareness fully into the present moment, you learn to observe your thoughts without becoming entangled in them. Imagine, if you will, your mind as a stormy sea, with thoughts crashing like waves upon the shore. Mindfulness is the calm harbor, the place where you can find refuge from the storm. One of the most powerful tools of mindfulness is mindful breathing, a practice revered in Buddhist teachings as anapanasati. The breath, so simple and yet so profound, is the anchor that can tether your mind to the present moment. By focusing on the breath, the very essence of life, you bring your awareness away from the endless chatter of the mind and into the stillness of the present. The practice of mindful breathing. Let us delve deeper into this practice, for it is not enough to merely understand it in theory, it must be lived, experienced, and integrated into your daily life. 1. Find a quiet space, seek out a place where you can be alone, free from distractions. This is your sacred space, where you will engage in the practice of mindfulness. 2. Sit comfortably, whether you choose to sit on a cushion, a chair, or lie down. Find a position that allows you to relax without falling asleep. Close your eyes and turn your attention inward. 3. Focus on your breath. Bring your awareness to your breath, the sensation of air entering and leaving your nostrils, the rise and fall of your abdomen. This is your anchor, your point of focus. 4. Inhale and exhale slowly. Take slow, deep breaths. Inhale deeply, feeling your abdomen rise, and then exhale fully, feeling your abdomen fall. With each breath, you draw your mind further into the present moment. 5. Let thoughts pass. As you breathe, thoughts will naturally arise. This is not a failure, it is the nature of the mind. But instead of engaging with these thoughts, simply observe them. Let them pass like clouds drifting across the sky, and gently return your focus to your breath. 6. Repeat as needed. This practice is not confined to a meditation cushion. Whenever you catch yourself overthinking during the day, take a few moments to practice mindful breathing. Even a few deep breaths can help you regain your composure and refocus your mind. As you continue to practice mindful breathing, you will find that the habit of overthinking begins to lose its grip on your mind. It is as if the waves of thought become gentler, the storm less fierce, and you find yourself in a place of calm and clarity. Mindfulness of the body. In addition to mindful breathing, there is another powerful practice I wish to share with you: mindfulness of the body. The body, much like the breath, is a powerful anchor to the present moment. When we become aware of our physical state, our posture, our movements, the sensations within our body, we ground ourselves in the here and now. This awareness pulls us out of the endless loops of thought and brings us back to the reality of the present moment. Let me ask you, how often do you truly pay attention to your body? How often do you notice the way you sit, the way you walk, the tension in your muscles, or the rhythm of your heartbeat? These simple observations can be profound in their ability to bring your mind into the present moment. The next time you find yourself caught in overthinking, pause and ask yourself, how am I sitting right now? Or what am I doing at this moment? By bringing your attention to your body, you pull yourself out of your thoughts and into the present. You become grounded, centered, and aware of the here and now. Step 3. Embracing the power of the present moment. The present moment, so often spoken of, yet so rarely experienced in its fullness. There is a well-known saying that encapsulates the essence of mindfulness: if you are sad, your mind is in the past; if you are anxious, your mind is in the future; if you are peaceful, your mind is in the present moment. These words are not merely poetic, they are a profound truth about the nature of our minds. When we dwell on the past, we often feel sadness, regret, or longing. When we fixate on the future, we invite anxiety, fear, and uncertainty into our hearts. But when we bring our awareness into the present moment, we find peace, a peace that is not dependent on external circumstances but arises from within. Living in the present moment. But what does it mean to live in the present moment? Does it mean ignoring your responsibilities or abandoning your goals? Certainly not. Living in the present moment means approaching life with a mindset that is grounded in the here and now. It means being fully engaged in whatever you are doing, whether it is work, play, or rest. It means experiencing life as it is, not as your mind imagines it to be. Let me share with you some practical ways to cultivate a present moment mindset. 1. Engage fully in your activities. Whatever you are doing, give it your full attention. Whether it's working, eating, or spending time with loved ones, immerse yourself in the experience. When you are fully engaged, your mind has no room to wander into overthinking. 2. Practice gratitude. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you are grateful for. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to overthinking because it shifts your focus from what is lacking or worrying to what is positive and fulfilling in your life. 3. Set boundaries for planning. While planning is important, it is easy to fall into the trap of endlessly revisiting and reanalyzing your plans. Set limits on how much time you spend planning. And once you've made a plan, trust yourself and the process. Let go of the need to control every detail. 4. Let go of perfectionism. Accept that things will not always go as planned, and that's okay. Perfectionism is a major fuel for overthinking, so embrace the idea that doing your best is enough. Remember, life is not about being perfect, it is about growing, learning, and evolving. by living in the present moment, you free yourself from the burdens of the past and the anxieties of the future. You experience life as it is, in all its beauty and complexity, and you find peace in the simple act of being. Step 4. Challenging the what-if questions. Now, let us turn our attention to one of the most insidious triggers of overthinking, the what-if questions. How these questions plague the mind. What if I fail? What if I am not good enough? What if everything goes wrong? These questions, my dear disciples, are like seeds of doubt planted in the fertile soil of your mind. Left unchecked, they grow into towering trees of fear that block out the light of possibility. But let us not be defeated by these questions. Instead, let us challenge them, reframe them, and turn them into a source of strength rather than weakness. Reframing the what-if questions. Instead of allowing these questions to lead you down a path of negativity, ask yourself, what if everything I did was okay? What if the outcome was better than I imagined? By shifting your perspective, you open yourself to a world of positive possibilities. You see, the future is full of uncertainties, but that does not mean you should expect the worst. On the contrary, it means you have the opportunity to shape your future with your thoughts, your actions, and your mindset. Embrace positivity and take risks. Life is a journey filled with risks, and it is through these risks that we grow, learn, and achieve greatness. But when we allow the what-if questions to dominate our minds, we become paralyzed by fear. We become so focused on what could go wrong that we forget what could go right. I urge you, my dear disciples, to embrace positivity in your thinking. Recognize that perfection is an illusion, and that you do not have to be perfect to succeed. You simply have to be willing to try, to take risks, and to do your best. By cultivating a positive mindset and being kind to yourself, you can overcome the fear of failure and the habit of overthinking. Conclusion: moving forward with mindfulness and positivity. As we bring this lesson to a close, let us reflect on the journey we have taken together. Overthinking is a habit, a deeply ingrained pattern of thought that can be difficult to break. But with mindfulness, patience, and a positive mindset, you can reclaim your peace of mind and start living more fully in the present moment. Remember, the goal is not to stop thinking altogether, but to think in a way that serves you, rather than hinders you. Be kind to yourself, embrace the present, and take risks with confidence. Life is too precious to spend it trapped in endless loops of worry. Instead, focus on what you can control, and trust that you have the strength and wisdom to handle whatever comes your way. May this guidance bring you peace and clarity. May it inspire you to take the first step toward the life you wish to live. And as you walk this path, know that you are not alone. You have within you the wisdom of the ages, the strength of your spirit, and the support of those who walk alongside you. Now, go forth with mindfulness and purpose. And take the first step toward breaking free from the chains of overthinking. The path is before you. Will you take it? Will you choose to live in the present moment, to embrace life with all its uncertainties, and to trust in your own inner strength? The choice is yours, my dear disciples. The journey is yours to take. And the peace you seek is within your reach, if only you have the courage to take that first step. As the Master concluded his teachings on the art of overcoming overthinking, the temple courtyard was bathed in the soft glow of twilight. The disciples sat in thoughtful silence, their hearts and minds absorbing the wisdom that had been shared. The words of the Master had not only illuminated the path forward but had also offered a profound sense of comfort, a reassurance that they were not alone in their struggles. The Master looked at his disciples, each one deep in reflection. He could see the changes in their expressions, the subtle shifts in their postures, signs that the lesson had taken root within them. Finally, the Master spoke again, his voice carrying the weight of the evening's teachings. My dear disciples, he began, the journey we have spoken of tonight is not an easy one, but it is a journey worth taking. The mind is a powerful force, capable of both creation and destruction. It can be your greatest ally or your most relentless adversary. But remember this, you have within you the strength to guide your mind, to calm its storms, and to bring it into harmony with the present moment. He paused, allowing his words to settle. The practice of mindfulness, of living fully in the present, is not something that happens overnight. It is a lifelong journey, a path that requires patience, perseverance, and compassion toward yourself. There will be days when your mind is like a wild river, and days when it is as calm as a still lake. Embrace both, for each has its own lessons to teach. The disciples nodded, their eyes reflecting a newfound determination. They understood that the path ahead would be challenging, but they also knew that they were not walking it alone. They had the guidance of their master, the support of one another, and the wisdom of the ages to draw upon. The master then rose from his seat, his movements deliberate and graceful. "Come," he said, motioning for the disciples to follow him. "Let us take a walk together." The disciples rose and followed the master as he led them through the temple grounds. The night was quiet, save for the gentle rustling of leaves in the breeze and the distant call of a night bird. The path they walked was well-worn, a familiar route that circled the temple and offered a view of the valley below. As they walked, the master spoke softly, his words a continuation of the evening's teachings. In life, there will be moments of doubt, moments when you feel lost or overwhelmed by the thoughts in your mind. When those moments come, return to your breath, to the present moment. Remember that peace is not something you must seek outside of yourself, it is already within you, waiting to be uncovered. The group reached a vantage point where the valley stretched out before them, a sea of shadows and moonlit peaks. The master stopped and turned to face his disciples. "Look out upon the valley," he said, "and see how the darkness and the light coexist. The night does not resist the coming of the dawn, nor does the dawn push away the night. They are in harmony, each allowing the other to exist. So too must you learn to live in harmony with your mind. Do not fight against your thoughts, but neither let them control you. Observe them, understand them, and then let them pass, like clouds across the sky." The disciples gazed out at the valley, the master's words resonating deeply within them. They understood now that the practice of mindfulness was not about erasing their thoughts or emotions but about finding balance and harmony within themselves. After a time, the master began to walk again, leading the disciples back toward the temple. "The teachings I have shared with you tonight are just the beginning," he said. "The real work begins now, as you return to your daily lives. Remember what you have learned here, and carry it with you. When you find yourself overthinking, return to your breath, to the present moment. You will find that with practice, the mind becomes clearer, the heart lighter, and the spirit more at peace." As they approached the temple, the master stopped once more and turned to his disciples. "The path to peace and clarity is a journey you must walk each day, but you are not alone. You have each other. And you have the teachings to guide you. Trust in yourself, and trust in the process." The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts filled with gratitude. The master returned their bows with a gentle smile. "Now, go and rest," he said. "Tomorrow is a new day, and with it comes new opportunities to practice what you have learned." With that, the master turned and walked back into the temple, leaving the disciples to reflect on the evening's teachings. As they made their way to their quarters, they felt a sense of calm and resolve, knowing that they had taken the first steps on a path that would lead them to greater peace and understanding. And so, under the quiet watch of the moon and stars, the disciples retired for the night, their hearts lightened, their minds clearer, and their spirits ready to embrace the journey that lay ahead.